We have been anxiously awaiting the 2021 Acura TLX Type S, and it is here. Now, what does S mean? It means that this is a sportier version, the step above the A-Spec TLX. Now, we have reviewed the TLX in the past, but today we are getting a chance to play with the Type S. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. Today we're going to be test driving the 2021 Acura TLX. This is the step above the A-Spec. This is the Type S. Now, I did talk about this in my TLX review. You can check that out up here. But we're going to go through 10 different categories, talk about why this is different than the A-Spec and the entry-level TLX and its competitors, which includes a lot of German cars, an Italian car, and some domestics as well. Now, when you look at this vehicle, it is much better looking than TLX. So we're going to go through it in 10 different categories. We're going to cover performance, handling, safety, visibility, technology, features. We're going to look at design and why it's different. We'll talk about quality, cargo space. Then we'll give you a value score compared to its competitors, which are listed down below in the description, and links to those reviews so you can do all your homework at carcoachreports.com. And then in the end, we'll give you a Car Coach Reports total so you can do some comparison. We'll put those totals in the description below as well. Here at Car Coach Reports, we do a lot more than cool car reviews. We give you first looks of new vehicles, and we give you Cars Smart. So don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss anything. Let's start with Under the Hood. Under the Hood is a 3-liter Type S turbocharged V6 engine with 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. It is a single twin-scroll turbo that puts out 15.1 psi maximum boost. So starting with performance and comfort, it does a nice job absorbing a lot of the road undulations, shall we say, the crevices, the potholes, the usual things that cause what we have called in other vehicles tram lining. This does not have that. Tram lining is when the tire finds a rut in the road and continues to want to push through that. It sort of drives it by the grooves in the roadway. There is no tram lining on this, and we'll talk about that in handling as well. Now, when you're talking about performance overall in comfort mode, this is nice. It's a little bit loud, but remember, this is meant to be sports sedan. There's a lot of cars in this category, and you want to make sure that you test drive them all. Like I say, the link is down below if you want to check out some of those other videos. Now, one of the things I have to say right away is you get in the vehicle and you feel very comfortable, not just from a seating position, but also a visibility perspective, which we'll talk about as we go further through the different categories. Your overall feeling of this vehicle is really important. So again, trying the different drive modes. So that's your comfort mode. You feel a little spirited. Let's switch it to this normal mode. Now, it's not as comfortable, but it's a little bit of sporty, just a little teeny bit of sporty, but it's a little bit more aggressive, and this is the mode that most of you will be driving in on a normal basis. It absorbs the road noise, and it's got the good performance you need when you put your foot in it. That's that twin scroll turbo. It is a single turbo. So if they had two turbos, they could use one to get you off the line. Now, we are in normal mode. That's fine. Let's go to sport. And instantly you see and feel some changes. You see some light changes. You also hear the exhaust note change, the shift points change, the gauges get red. There's a lot of little changes, including in the suspension. When you change drive modes, it adjusts the throttle response, the shift points, the exhaust tone, the steering, suspension, and the lights on the gauges. I should note fuel economy is on a combined of 21 miles to the gallon. When you buy a vehicle like this, who the heck cares? I mean, you're not buying this car for fuel economy. If you want that, go buy a Prius. We are in Sport Plus mode. That is real exhaust, nice performance. You know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have that adrenaline rush. Like when you drive a Mustang or a Charger or some of these other vehicles, how you get, even an Audi or all the competitors that are listed down below, you get this rush of adrenaline, like you're driving a performance car. Here you hear it, but you don't have that same engagement with the roadway. Now, that may be part of handling, and this is a very good balanced car. This is a very trackable car that you could easily put on the track and not have any problems at all. When you want it comfortable, it's comfortable. You want it sporty, it's sporty. So it does deliver on all of those features without any problem. But one of the things that, I don't know, maybe it's the steering. It's like a drive-by-wire. It does a lot of hunting for gears. This is a 10-speed automatic transmission. You hear it keep shifting, it keeps wanting to shift. And I think that may be part of what's taking away some of the inspiration, the adrenaline rush. That's what it's missing. An adrenaline rush that you get when you're driving a performance car. This is great if you don't want that adrenaline rush, but you want that sound, you want that feeling, and you want the performance. It delivers on all counts. It earns a 9 for performance, but there's just a little something missing. It needs to have more of an adrenaline rush. And on the track, this will perform. There's no questions about that. It's just missing that little something. My first thoughts on the steering is that it inspires confidence, and that can be dangerous on a racetrack, by the way. If you don't have the skills, you don't want the car to make you think you're a better driver than you are. There are a few cars out there that are like that. But with this super handling all-wheel drive, this race-tested and race-inspired suspension, lots of extra chassis stiffening, especially behind the rear seats, you are keeping those tires contacted to the ground. They're 20-inch, they're Pirellis. You can get summer tires and you can get all-season tires. And when you put this in the Sport Plus mode, it really does stick to the ground. You can feel the difference in this vehicle versus the TLX. There are Brembo brakes on this vehicle, and they do stop well. Brembo always makes fabulous brakes. Here we go. Very nice. I think I figured out between the performance and the handling what's missing on that adrenaline rush, and that is the drive-by-wire. As you're steering the vehicle, even though it has also brake-by-wire, which you can modulate the brakes, there's something disconnected. When you're driving a car, as a person, I've been racing cars since 1980, you can do the math, long time. And when you're driving a car, you don't want it to feel disconnected from the roadway. And I think that's what's missing in that adrenaline rush. But the performance overall for this vehicle is impressive. And part of it is that stiffening of the chassis, using the best products. That makes a big difference on getting these tires to stick to the ground and transferring the weight from the driveline to contact patches on the roadway. One of the best things about the super handling all-wheel drive, it can take 70% of the torque and move it to the rear wheels, which is great on a racetrack because then you're really getting those sticky tires down on the ground. And when it comes to handling, this vehicle does really well and earns a 9. There are a lot of safety features on this vehicle that are standard, which includes forward collision warning, ACC forward vehicle detection, beeps, and it can also intervene. They got road departure mitigation and the lane keeping assist. When you hit each of the buttons, it'll explain what it does and if you can turn it on and off. Additional safety features include the driver assist system setup, blind spot detection, and the driver attention monitor, all of which can be adjusted whether you want audio or a visual beep. Really well designed, works as stated. And for safety, there is a lot of it on this vehicle. And as in the TLX, excellent safety features. This vehicle earns a 9. When it comes to visibility, 80% of your driving decisions are based on what you can see. That's kind of obvious. So looking out the front, you have a good sized piece of glass. And depending on how you adjust the seat, you can kind of see the corners of the car. Well, that's okay because there is a park assist. As you get close to things, you can get that beeping that tells you, hey, you're getting closer. We're all used to that. Now, when you're looking at the sills, this is where your arm might rest. It's a little bit high for this vehicle. It's not a deal breaker. It makes the vehicle look pretty cool, but for the people in the back seat, it might limit some of their visibility. Now, looking out the back, you can see there are 3 headrests, and they do kind of limit the visibility. So when you put the car into reverse, you get a backup camera. You don't get an around view backup camera. And I think that is something that people expect at a car at this price point because the competition has that. Now, if you're turning around, just looking out the back, you can see that they put a quarter vent window right there, and that allows you to see a little bit, but there's still some visibility issues. And when you're looking at a total score, it earns a 7. When it comes to seating, Acura has listened to you and has made both front seats the same. 16-way power seats with power lumbar. There's an adjustability for the bolsters that goes up and out for the thigh support and on the back. Excellent, easy to use, nice adjustable. Steering wheel, of course, is adjustable. Flat bottom steering wheel, it is heated, and the seats come heated or air cooled. There is also an Alcantara or ultra suede material that is in the center of the seats. Makes it look really cool, very sporty, and having the Type S embossed into the headrests Very nice design touch. Let's take a look at the second row and we'll give you a score. Coming into the second row, I've got this seat set a little bit further back, but I'm 5'8" and I'm all legs, and there is plenty of knee room here. As this vehicle has a sedan style, you're noticing the slope in the headroom, so that's going to limit someone who's taller than I am. There's plenty of room in the second row for 2 people, and there is a seat belt in the center, but there are 2 latch systems for child safety seats on the outboard side. In front of you, you've got 2 pockets and 2 vents behind the center console. In the door, you've got storage for drinks, you've got your window lifts, this beautiful ELS Studio 3D speaker on each side, and of course the door handle and the lock system. There's also a grip which you may need to get out of the back seat. It is a little bit on the tight side, but overall, because they did such a great job on the front seats when it comes to seating comfort, this vehicle earns a 9. When you're looking at technology, the first thing you think is the center screen that's directly in front of you. Now, it does have some really nice features, and it has some features that kind of frustrate me. Starting off, when you hit the home button, you have the opportunity to go to different screens, and you can make it a split screen as you see here, or just have it all as one screen. It depends what you're looking to do. You've got your navigation, you can get into your settings. So starting with the navigation, when you turn on the navigation with the split screen, it changes the right side screen to your audio. You can also move this hideous mouse, which I can't stand because it's hard to get over to this to make this work. So this is the side screen on the right of the touchpad. You can change that information to switch. You can, there's not many options here. There you go. We can get this to go one more. Again, if it's this frustrating, it's going to be more frustrating as you own it to me. But again, this is a personal thing. You got your satellite radio, FM radio. There's also AM. It's just buried a little deeper. USB connection, your AT&T hotspot, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are standard. Now, if you go to the little touchpad here, you can see there's AM radio and all of your other connections right here, phone, and additional settings. Heading back to the home screen, I find this so dated, it drives me absolutely bonkers. To get to that next screen should not be this challenging. In the settings mode, you've got your different connections, the display and how you would like it to be, daytime, nighttime, and additional settings where you can adjust everything that you want on this vehicle. Hitting the go back button, again, I find this extremely dated. You've got your vehicle settings, which includes your driver position for setup, your metering, keyless entry, driver assist, which is your safety feature, so you can make that personalized, a little deep into it, door setup, lighting setup, and maintenance information. One thing that's important to note, and we discussed this in performance, is changing your dynamic modes. So when you start in the different modes, you get a nice little video. There's your comfort, there's your normal, your sport, you hear the exhaust note change, and then you turn and hold, gets you into that Sport Plus, and then you can press the button if you wish to make it individual. So you can set it up how you'd like it to be, rather than how they think you want it to be. Now, when you change these drive modes and you can see the different modes, it does also change the gauges in front of you. It's not that dramatic during the day, but at night, all the ambient lighting changes color based on the mode that you're in. And that is pretty cool. Now, if you're looking at technology, I still say that this center mouse screen is a bit dated. Easy to use for some, I'm not a fan of it. But overall, when it comes to technology, this vehicle earns a 9. Beyond the 6 exterior colors and 2 interior colors is this cool flat bottom steering wheel. I love that they did that. And the aluminum pedals you can see through the steering wheel here are nicely designed. On the left side of the steering wheel is your audio controls, which includes this button to move the station up and down and the information up and down. You've got your apps here and the ability to speak, and of course the going back button. The steering wheel is really grippy, and you can easily reach the paddle shifts as well as the signals. On the right side, they go with the same themes for the cruise control, moving your information up and down here, and of course this button you can also push, as well as adjust your safety settings right in the middle. And this includes lane departure warning and distance and canceling that cruise control. On the right side, you have your other paddle shift for going up and your wiper controls. You can also adjust and watch that super handling all-wheel drive and the different settings that are adjustable and your driver attention levels. All this is on the right side of the steering wheel. On the left side of the steering wheel, you can push and dial to change the different radio stations. Very nicely done. Now I have to show you, when you change the gauges, this is comfort. You just see that little blue. Next is normal, sport, and Sport Plus. And press the button in the middle and you go to individual. Not much changes in the gauges, but the ambient lighting around the perimeter of the cabin does change when you change drive modes. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have some additional controls. Nothing that's unusual, but to be expected. When you press that button, you can adjust the safety support systems and how you would like to adjust them. There are 2 memory seating settings, and the controls in the door, as well as that ELS audio speaker system, is right there, so you get a nice balance of sound. Heading back to that center screen where you can adjust different settings from navigation to audio to safety systems and your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Your emergency light right there, and these nice vents on each side with this beautiful red stitching. I do have to say they did a really nice job putting in this real stitching on this real leather. Very, very pretty design. Below that, you've got your climate control, 3-stage heated and 3-stage cooled seats, and they can be automatically adjusted. So if it's cold outside, they can automatically change, and the automatic seat adjustments are based on outside temperature. Here's your drive mode dial we talked about. You turn it one way or the other to change the different drive modes. Further down, I do appreciate the fact that it's easy to find that auto off to shut off, that start-stop technology, and your brake hold for traffic lights. This is your shifter, your Prindle, right there, pretty simple. Then we have the dreaded center mouse pad, which I'm not a fan of, although it's pretty easy for some people. I don't know, there's something about it I just don't like. You can put that in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. Lexus has already gotten away from that as well. Here's a little resting spot for your hand so that you can use that mouse. 2 cup holders and a wireless phone charger. Inside the center console, there is more charging. That stick is for the top of the line audio. ELS 3D sound system, which is really nice, and a power charging port there, and more storage. There is a sunroof with a manual cover, which I find kind of odd in this price point, but overall for features, this vehicle earns a 9. When you're looking at the design of the TLX and the Type S, there are some distinctive ways of knowing what it is. Starting off with this black surround and this smaller grille that actually brings in 10% more airflow. In addition, you've got a front splitter that is black and trim around these very cool LED headlights, which are also black. Of course, the Type S badging is another way to know that it's a Type S. One other way to denote that this vehicle is very special is the 20-inch wheels that are standard. In addition, you can get a summer tire only or an all-season tire, and there are different rim designs that are also alloys. Again, that Type S badging kind of denotes this vehicle is special. One last thing to note is that the Brembo brakes are standard and they are red both front and back. When you come around to the back, this black rear wing is special for the Type S, more badging, and then these very cool quad exhaust, which is very specific to the Type S because you want to hear that exhaust note, which is as good as the audio system. And one thing that's important to note, they are not piping in exhaust notes into the cabin when you're in the Sport Plus mode, and that is much appreciated. Across the back is a very nice, clean rear end, including this black rear diffuser. Overall, the design cues are really impressive, and for design, it earns a 9. When you're looking at the quality of the Acura TLX, it is Honda quality, which is top of the line. In addition, you've got a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty, and you get roadside service for that same time period. Now, looking at the quality of the materials, the build, the paint quality, the gaps in the panel, everything was done right. And that includes the interior materials of like ultra suede, and really thought about who's using this car and what they're using it for. The quality of the components are top of the line, and for quality, this vehicle earns a 10. Coming around to the back, There's about 14.3 cubic feet of storage with the rear seats up. Yes, you can put the rear seats down if you need more storage. Now, one of the things to note is this vehicle does not have a lot of options. It starts at about $52,000. We have the summer rims and tires, which brought our sticker price up to about $54,000. When you compare that to the BMW, not the M cars, but the 340, the Audi S4, the Genesis G70, and even the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, you're starting to look at the price points, and you add on all these options, they get really, really expensive. But that is not the case when it comes to the TLX. Compared to the competitors, you can see that Acura is coming back strong, and they want to show you what they can do. Now, talking to some of the designers and the internal people, I know they love racing. They've been winning at racing, and they've been making sure that all these vehicles are track tested. And therefore, when you look at the value of this vehicle compared to its competitors, it has a value score of 9. Now, when you total up all 10 categories, there are a few things that are off, but this is a fantastic vehicle. We've been so excited to drive it, and we have not been disappointed. There are some weird things on it that you have to get used to, like the brake-by-wire, and sometimes it feels a little disconnected to the road, but it depends what drive mode you're in. When you put it in Sport Plus, this vehicle performs. I would love to have it on a track. What we have heard from friends and other contributors on our Car Coach Report site, they loved it on the track. So you'll have to check out our website to see some additional footage on that as well. Totaling up all 10 categories for the 2021 Acura TLX Type S, this vehicle earns an 89. Now, we have reviewed all the cars. Like I said, they're listed down below. There's quite a long list. Make sure that you check them out. Even Jaguar has a direct competitor to this. And you want to make sure that before you make a decision, you don't just check the price of the vehicle, but check the insurance prices, because that's where you're really going to see a variance between each vehicle, because replacement cost and your driving history, well, that could be a difference in making it more expensive or less expensive. If you got value from this video, make sure to like and share it with your friends. If you have additional questions on areas I did not cover, because this could be like a 4-hour video on this vehicle, put it in the comments down below. I will personally answer your questions. We do appreciate your comments on the other videos. And if you bought one, why did you buy it? Did you like it? And if you bought something else, what did you buy? Don't forget to check out our podcast. We're having an awesome time talking to internals and designers about what's coming up in the future. That's on a podcast called Total Car Score. It's on all platforms. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm always posting really cool stuff, and that's all platforms, literally large and small, at Lauren Fix. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for watching.